Hello, everybody. Welcome to PBLA Today. I'm your host, Kevin Sylvester. Hope you're having a great holiday season with your family and loved ones and are safe through all the storms that have been happening across the country. We have made it to the first weekend of play in the PBLA. More on that in just a moment. Want to tell you what's coming up on the show. We're going to be joined by Randy Chrysler, the head coach of the Jim Thorpe All-Americans, and by Jim Thorpe's grandson, John Thorpe, to tell us more about the legend that was his grandfather. But first up, the first slate of games in the PBLA. The first ever game, the Syracuse Spark against the Jim Thorpe All-Americans at Six Nations in Ontario. Then you have the Elmira Renegades at the Binghamton Bombers on Friday. Also Friday night, you have the Hammerheads visiting the Mayhem in Salem, Virginia. And to close out the first weekend slate, it is the Chowderheads at the Trenton Terror in Trenton, New Jersey. Up next, we're going to talk with a very excited man to coach the Jim Thorpe All-Americans. Randy Chrysler joins us next. Stay with us. Find the gear for your favorite team to look stylish while rooting them on in the arena at PBLA.com. Click on Shop, scroll down to your favorite team, click Shop Now, and there you'll find all the merchandise to cheer on your favorite team and look good doing it. Very excited to have with me the head coach of the Jim Thorpe All-Americans, Randy Chrysler. And Coach, I'm excited to talk to you, but I don't think I'm as excited as you are to be coaching not only a team in the new PBLA, but to be coaching a team named after one of the greatest athletes ever worldwide, but also one of the greatest Native American athletes in Jim Thorpe. Just tell us how excited you are to have the honor to be the coach of the team.
Well, it's you know that I'm like I told you before, I'm a very emotional man. I wear it on my sleeves. But when I got the call to coach this team, I had to ask the person that was calling, "Are you sure you're talking to the right gentleman?" But yeah, I mean, just to be a part of this, the name Jim Thorpe, and to be able to represent him as a team and in this new PBL league is just a blessing. It is just unreal right now. It's still kind of pinching myself, but yes, I'm very excited and very honored.
You know, when I first heard about the concept of this ninth franchise and be named after Jim Thorpe, the Jim Thorpe All-Americans, I thought, a brilliant idea, because he is too often neglected in the discussion of great athletes, right? Everybody's like, let's talk about Michael Jordan and Tom Brady. And, you know, if you want to look at Olympic athletes where, you know, he won the Olympic gold medals, there are other ones that are mentioned ahead of Jim Thorpe. But boy, was he, you look at what he accomplished way ahead of his time. He did what Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders did way before they even thought of it.
Oh yeah. You know, I was doing some homework on him, and there's some quotes in there from different athletes and different people. One was he's bigger than Tony Dorsett, faster than Earl Campbell, and stronger than Walter Payton. And you sit back and look at that, and it's like, wow, you know, because I never really got to see him play, obviously, but another quote was he was a 1980s All-American turned loose in the 1910s. So that's just some of the quotes I have been looking at, and it's real too. You know, you look at what he accomplished and what he's been through in his life is just an amazing story.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we'll get into more of that story in other parts of the show. I want to talk to you about this league, this team. You've been around the game of box lacrosse most of your life. What is so special about the game of box lacrosse?
So that's a loaded question. We'd be here for hours, but just I think the one of the things for me is meeting people in this game. I coached, I played, and for most of my life, 5, 6, 7 years old, and I'm still in contact with some of the players, teammates, 40 years from now, and they still contact. Some of my players contact me, and they wish me Merry Christmas, and they show me their kids, and just growing up. That I think that the game right there just brings us together, and it's just a family atmosphere through the whole league. You battle on the floor and you give it all, but I was told by my dad when I was very young, leave it on the floor. It'll make you a better player, better coach, better person if you leave all that stuff on the floor and really hold on to the relationships that you've made in the game.
Speaking of those relationships, and you mentioned the players you've coached throughout the years, whether they be younger players, high school players, and molding to becoming men or professionals that you've coached. Talking about this group you're coaching now, as they're about to embark on this season and this unique team that they're a part of, what's impressed you most about them so far?
Wow. Our first get together, we got different nationalities on the team. We've got people coming from Florida, just everything that you look at coming into a team. And the first 15, 20 minutes, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, and the friendship, and just pushing each other within 15, 20 minutes of a team that some of them knew each other and some of them never even heard of each other. But to see that on the floor, my whole coaching staff kind of talked about it within the first 20 minutes, 15 minutes of practice, the camaraderie, how fast it came about on this team is what impressed me the most so far.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have a few players that indoor box lacrosse might be new to them. What has that been like for the transition for the outdoor player? And I'm sure you've got players who've played both, but I know a lot of the teams have had some first-time players, and they're getting acclimated to the confines, if you will, of the indoor game.
That's always not a battle, but something that you got to work with. And a lot of the kids that's never played or had experience in box think they've got 40 yards run this way and 110 to run the other way. Not box lacrosse. You have 30 seconds and time you get on the floor. It's fast thinking, reaction time, just everything. It just brings that whole mentality of what they're used to in field lacrosse. It just changes it, and it's going to make them a better player.
And this league's been about opportunity for more players and more players to get a professional level or continue their career. Have you seen that? Have you seen the gratitude from the players for this opportunity for a new league to either continue their career or gives them another on-ramp, if you will, to go onward and upward in their careers?
Oh, no doubt. We drafted Patrick Timothy from Florida, and when we drafted him, the phone call that I got from him was that's why I coach. Just to feel his excitement and just to hear it out of his voice and the gratitude of giving him the opportunity. Again, that's what I'm seeing, and just to get the boys that next level in their career is great to see this league come in to do that.
Final thing I have for you, with the no true home base for the team. I think it's kind of unique that the team will be traveling around. What is your approach going to be like that, where even the home game is going to be a road game, if you will? However, it seems like the places you're going to play, the fans are going to be behind you because of the story of Jim Thorpe. How are you going to approach it as a coach for your players?
I coach teams and away and home games, and I try to keep it simplified for them, and especially with a younger team that I have right now. A lot of them played box lacrosse. Some of them are haven't played at this level, but I always try to calm my players down before a game, and the way my dad used to tell me is that, arena is an arena. The game is still a game. Doesn't matter where it's at and where it's played. And everybody puts their pads and their helmets on and goes out on the floor. So we try to keep it simplified, I guess. And sure, there's a ton of excitement here, just alone on who we're representing. And the team that we picked, they are, just talking to a lot of them, are very honored to be able to play for this man's name. And that's what we need to concentrate on. Yeah, we all like to win, but we want to be able to represent this gentleman is the best we can on and off the floor. Just all around, just totally blessed.
Finding tickets for your favorite team is easy. Go to PBLA.com, click on the Teams tab, slide it down to your favorite team. You can pop right up the schedule there and pick the tickets for the game that you want. Season tickets are also available, all of it done at PBLA.com. Well, I am pleased to be joined now by the grandson of Jim Thorpe. Yes, one of the greatest athletes of all time, and his grandson, John Thorpe, is with me now. John, so good to have you with us here on what is it? It has to be an exciting time for your family, and I'm sure you and the rest of your grandfather's family are honored to have a team named after him.
Again, Kevin, thank you so much for having me. And what an honor it is to have Grandpa's name on the team, especially lacrosse being the oldest sport in America and a Native American sport at that. It would truly please him to no end.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited about it, too, because having worked in sports broadcasting all those years, there's always be these debates, whether it be on a talk show or a TV. Who's the greatest athletes of all time? And like immediately people go to Michael Jordan. They think of Bo Jackson, Tom Brady, what he's doing now. And then invariably somebody would say, well, what about Jim Thorpe? And you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, Jim Thorpe. And I think it's because of when he did it. He was so before his time, at least in my opinion, on what he was able to do. And certainly you know more about this than I do, John. When you look back at what he accomplished, it's incredible what he did.
It is truly incredible. And there's no other athlete present today or in the past that's been able to duplicate his accomplishments. I noticed that you mentioned like Bo Jackson and Michael Jordan and such like that. I bet if you asked those guys who they thought was the world's greatest athlete, they would refer to Jim Thorpe more times than not.
Yeah, they would have to, just to see what he was able to do to compete professionally. But just in the Olympics alone, the decathlon and pentathlon, to gold medal in that, and to be the first Native American to gold medal in that. And I know there was some controversy, but I'm glad to see that just in this last year that it's been cleared up completely, and he is recognized as the Olympic champion in those events in the years in 1912. Is that correct?
That is correct. It only took them 110 years to rectify the situation, but thank goodness they finally came around to it. I was just in Sweden here this past September, and World Athletics honored Grandpa with a heritage plaque, and he also received a stone in the Walk of Fame just outside of the Olympic Stadium there in Stockholm. So a lot of honors and accolades going on, and it's a wonderful thing. Finally, he is fully reinstated, and now nobody can take that away.
The moniker All-American, of course, that was a movie about your grandfather, but it truly is appropriate, right, to define him as an All-American when we think about I was looking at his heritage. Obviously, most people know about the Native American part, but as French settlers, like there's some different nationalities in there too. Truly the melting pot of America. When you look at Jim Thorpe and lineage, he fits that bill, doesn't he?
By all means, if there ever was an All-American, it would sure be Jim Thorpe. And in 1912, when Grandpa competed in the Olympics there in Stockholm, he wasn't a United States citizen. He was a ward of the court, as all Native Americans were at that time. They didn't get recognized until, I believe, in the 20s.
Well, it's we've truly come a long ways in that recognition in this country. Certainly, probably still some ways to go too. I think it goes back to my statement about the conversations with the world's greatest athletes. But where do you see your grandfather's legacy today? Obviously with this new league and this team, that's certainly one piece of it. The Olympic Committee and that recognition. But certainly, I know you're an advocate for your grandfather's legacy. Where do you think it stands today in the world of sport?
I think he is still and always will be recognized as the world's greatest athlete. He was the first president of the NFL. He is the only professional athlete to play football, baseball, and basketball in the same season. He was the first professional athlete to score a touchdown and hit a home run in the same season. And he also won ballroom dancing competitions with my grandmother. So in looking at him in today's standards, I don't think that there's anybody else that is truly his equal. And to have people like this and the league having a team named after him, and especially the All-Americans, it just goes to show that his name, it never goes away.
You mentioned the NFL. I'm glad you brought that up because it was prior to becoming the NFL. I wonder what he would think of. What do you think he'd think of the NFL today? See what it's become.
I don't think he'd be willing to call it football. I'm not sure what he would call it, but the game that he started really doesn't resemble the game that they play today.
No, it's definitely certainly different. What do you think, if he were alive today, if we fast forward to if he were in his prime today, do you think he would have stuck with football? Do you think he would have done with baseball? If you had to take a guess, knowing all of his great accomplishments, which one do you think he would have went with, or perhaps something else?
Football was really in his heart. He loved football, I think, more than any of the other sports that he competed in. His favorite number was 11, the number of football players that are on any given team or on the field at one time. So I believe that football would stand out in him. Although with the training that is available today, he would have been able to pursue baseball, I believe, a little further and perhaps been able to accomplish a lot more in baseball than he was able to in his time. But without a doubt, and he was often asked by reporters of all the sports and everything that you've competed in, what's your favorite sport? And he would often reply to their dismay, hunting and fishing. So if with the hunting channels and the fishing channels that are on right now, he may just go ahead and tackle some fishing channels.
I can admire that. I'm a fisherman myself, and
yeah,
it's fantastic when you catch a good one there. I thought you were going to say he would have said ballroom dancing with your grandmother. It just shows the great skill and footwork that he had, because that's certainly not easy either.
No, that takes a little bit of talent and coordination, and surely Grandpa had both of those things in abundance. And maybe it would be ballroom dancing. We'd have to ask him personally. But I think football would really stand out.
And I think there's nothing to dispute that he would still, if he were playing today, he would be one of the greatest. There's no question. The greats transcend time, and I'm sure you and your family believe that too.
Without a doubt. Yes, without a doubt. With that being said, we'd have to have this conversation perhaps 100 years from today.
To learn more about the PBLA and have in-depth conversations, check out the PBLA podcast with Bruce WAWRZYNIAK. It's available for download where you find all of your great podcast entertainment. Finding tickets for your favorite team is easy. Go to PBLA.com, click on the Teams tab, slide it down to your favorite team. You can pop right up the schedule there and pick the tickets for the game that you want. Season tickets are also available, all of it done at PBLA.com. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. I want to thank you all for joining us. If your team hasn't had a home game yet, don't worry. They are coming. Check out the schedule at PBLA.com. You can also get your tickets for all upcoming games for your hometown team and other markets if you want to check it out. Again, PBLA.com. Next time you join us, we'll be in the new year, 2023. So I want to wish you all a very happy new year. And we'll have standings and highlights, all that and more, coming up in 2023 on PBLA Today. Take care and happy new year.